I met Emily about 5 years ago, and honestly, I thought she was the perfect girl. Beautiful, smart, funny. She seemed to get along with everyone, including my family and friends. We started dating and everything just clicked. I proposed after 2 years and we got married in a pretty big ceremony, surrounded by all the people who thought we were the perfect couple. Honestly, I was happy. Or so I thought. Things started to feel a little off a few months into our marriage, but I chalked it up to stress. Emily was always a bit bitchy when she was tired or upset, but she'd dismiss it with some excuse about work or her friends. She's the type to lie a lot, though, about little things that don't matter and even some that do. Still, I loved her and I thought maybe I was just overthinking it. Then the signs started piling up. She'd be secretive about her phone, hiding it when I came near. Her phone bill had strange numbers I didn't recognize. She'd say it was just her sister or some coworker, but I had this gut feeling that she was hiding something. Maybe I was just paranoid, but I couldn't shake the feeling that she was pulling away from me emotionally. One night, I came home early from work, and I caught her texting late at night. I peeked at her phone out of curiosity, not expecting much, because honestly, I didn't want to believe she could be cheating. But the message thread I saw was like a punch in the gut. It was between her and some guy named Jake, and they were talking like they were more than just friends. Flirty messages, little jokes that only lovers would share, and even mentions of meeting up. I froze. My stomach dropped. I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. That night I didn't sleep. I kept staring at her while she slept, feeling betrayed and stupid for not noticing sooner. I knew I had to confront her, but I wasn't ready. How do you even start a conversation like that? I started questioning everything about us. Was our marriage just a lie? Did she ever love me? Why hide it? Why cheat? I was furious, heartbroken, and confused all at once. The thing is, Emily always had a way of spinning stories, lying her way out of anything. She's good at shifting blame and making herself the victim. I knew she'd play the innocent wife, deny everything, cry if she had to. I wanted to believe her, but I also knew better. I'd seen the way she looked at Jake, like he was her escape hatch. I couldn't ignore it anymore. So I started digging. I got her phone, dug through her messages, and found even more proof: hidden photos, secret chats. It was like I'd uncovered a whole different person lurking beneath the woman I thought I knew. And that's when I realized how deep this betrayal really went. She'd been lying to me for months, maybe even longer. I was living with a woman who couldn't care less about our vows, and I felt like I was drowning in a mess I didn't even know I was in. That's where I'm at now, stuck between anger and heartbreak. I never thought I'd be the guy to find his wife cheating, especially not with my best man. But here I am, facing a truth I can't ignore anymore. She's lied, cheated, and hid it all pretty well, until I found her out. And honestly, I don't know what to do. Next, after I uncovered everything, I was a mess. I stayed up all night going over every message, every detail I could find. It was like watching a bad movie, only it was real and happening to me. Emily kept telling me she was tired, stressed, that it was a mistake, that it meant nothing. But I knew better. I saw the messages. I saw her laughing at his jokes when she should have been with me. I saw the way she hid her phone when I came into the room. That wasn't stress, that was guilt. The next day I decided I couldn't keep pretending I didn't know. I needed to confront her. I waited until she got home from work and then sat her down in the kitchen. My hands were trembling, but I played it cool, at least I thought I did. I showed her the message threads, the photos, the evidence I had collected. Her face changed from annoyed to furious in a split second. "You're crazy," she spat, folding her arms. "You've been snooping around. Classic. Maybe you're just insecure or jealous because I don't give you enough attention." Her voice was sharp, biting, and her eyes looked at me like I was some kind of obsessive lunatic. I couldn't believe her. I told her I'd seen enough, that I wasn't going to lie down and pretend I didn't see her sneaking around with another man. She just rolled her eyes and said I was overreacting, that I was imagining things, that she loved me and I was making a big deal out of nothing. That's when I lost my temper. I told her she was full of shit, that she was a cheating bitch who had been screwing around behind my back for months. She tried to deny it, of course. Said Jake was just a friend, someone she'd confided in, that I was crazy for thinking there was anything more. But I knew better. I saw how she looked at him, like he was her escape hatch. She said I was jealous, insecure, that I was twisting her words and making a mess out of everything. Honestly, I felt like my world was falling apart. The woman I married, the woman I loved, had been betraying me and lying to my face. It was a brutal realization. I felt betrayed, angry, and incredibly hurt, but in that moment I also knew the truth. I couldn't stay with her, not after she'd lied so blatantly, so easily. I told her she needed to leave, that I couldn't do this anymore. She stormed out, calling me crazy, saying I was overreacting, that she'd been stressed, that it was just sex, that she loved me but couldn't help her feelings for Jake. That night I was alone in the house, sitting in the dark. I kept replaying everything she said, everything I saw, trying to make sense of it all. I felt numb, like I'd been punched in the chest. How could she lie so effortlessly? How could she betray me like that? I thought about all the plans we made, all the future bullshit I'd bought into, and now it was all gone. I didn't sleep that night, just stared at the ceiling, feeling crushed and angry at the same time. The next few days were a blur. I told my friends, my family, though I didn't go into details, just said we'd hit a rough patch. Inside, I was trying to keep it together, but I felt like a fool. I had trusted her blindly, and she'd thrown that trust in the trash. The hardest part was feeling like I'd been played for a fool, like I'd missed all the signs that she was never really committed to me. And yet, even now, I can't stop thinking about her. About the nights she was out late, about the way she lied so smoothly. I keep asking myself if I could ever forgive her, if there's any way back from this kind of betrayal. Honestly, I don't think so. I don't want to be that guy who turns into some bitter, jealous wreck, but it's so fresh. I'm angry, hurt, and tired of feeling like I was just a placeholder for her while she did whatever she wanted. I don't know what I'll do next, but I do know this. I will never trust her again. That's for sure. And I'm still trying to figure out how I go from feeling like I was on top of the world to feeling like a complete idiot who was played for a fool. I just hope I get through this without completely losing myself. After the initial chaos, I tried to keep my head cool, but inside I was burning. Every time I saw her around the house, I felt this mix of rage and sadness. She kept trying to call, text, even show up at my office, trying to apologize, deny everything, or just plead with me to forgive her. But what was there to forgive? How do you forgive someone who lied and fucked around with your best man at your wedding? I couldn't even look at her without feeling disgusted. One afternoon, I decided I had to see her in her element, so I asked her to meet me at a coffee shop. I wanted her to explain herself face to face, though I knew she'd just spin some bullshit. When she arrived, she looked irritated, trying to act like she was the victim. She sat down, crossing her arms and giving me this bitchy smirk. "So what now? You're gonna cry and beg me to stay?" She snapped, clearly annoyed that I wasn't falling apart like she wanted. I just looked at her, dead serious. "No, Emily. I want the truth. I want to know how long you've been screwing around, why you hid it, and how you could do this to me. Did you ever love me, or was I just some fool you married for convenience?" She rolled her eyes and scoffed. "You're making a big deal out of nothing. Jake's just a friend. I told you that already. You're overreacting. Maybe you're just insecure because I don't give you enough attention. Honestly, I don't have time for this drama. I've got a life too, you know." Her tone was dismissive, like I was some kid throwing a tantrum. I clenched my fists. "Don't lie to me. I saw your messages. I know what you're doing. How could you do this? To me, to our relationship, to everything we built." She leaned back, sighing loudly. "Look, I don't owe you explanations. Maybe I've been stressed, maybe I made a mistake. Sex isn't a big deal. It doesn't mean I love Jake or that I don't love you. You've always been so insecure. Maybe if you weren't so paranoid, I wouldn't have had to hide things." That was the last straw. I felt my face flush with anger. I told her she was full of shit, that I'd had enough of her lies. I told her she was a selfish, manipulative bitch who didn't care about our vows or my feelings. I said she was cheating, lying, and playing me for a fool. She just sneered and said I was overreacting, that I was crazy to think she'd do something so stupid. I stood up, telling her to leave. I didn't want her in my sight anymore. She got up, smirked again, and said she was done with my accusations. "You're just jealous, that's all. Jake's better in bed anyway," she added with a sly smile before walking out. I sat there stunned, feeling like I'd just been punched in the stomach. That confrontation was a turning point. I knew I couldn't pretend everything was okay anymore. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and furious. But deep down, I also felt a strange sense of relief. Finally, I'd confronted the truth head-on.